So just walking back into the bush here with Ted and Joe, and we got some stuff to do. We got a full salmon to smoke. We got some meat to smoke to preserve it. We're gonna be camping out, and yeah, it should be an interesting trip. So we'll see what comes of it. You never know kind of what materials are gonna be in the area you're in. So you kind of got to do a little improvising. So I'm sure we should come up with something that'll be adequate for the night and preserve some of the meat I have in my backpack right now.
Look, it's the Baird brothers. They're at my fort.
Oh, hey, we were just we heard that there was a fort back here, so we wanted to go check it out. Cool.
Okay, so we're just discussing what we're going to do here, building the smoker. Jim said we're going to probably need 4 poles, pretty substantial in length, longer than these, if you guys can see these. So we're looking at what do we want, like 15-foot poles?
Like I think we're going to be good with probably about yeah, 12 feet, 10, 12 feet.
Okay, so we'll cut down a few trees. We're going to put the smoker right in here. We're going to try to get some bark.
Yeah.
Try to peel some bark off to line the smoker with. We'll get some boughs on there as well.
We cold smoke, so it's going to be like not quite like jerky, but we'll leave it on all night, and then it'll be basically be able to last in the summer heat for 5-6 days.
Cool. All right, so let's get going. We're gonna get some trees down. You're gonna get the. I'll get the trees. You get the roots.
Yeah.
You're gonna clean the fish, maybe.
I guess I can do that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm gonna get like something to lay it down on. I might just snap off some boughs, get the fish prepared. We're also gonna have to. We also have some meat too that I want to do on there as well, so we can get some meat.
Jim's injured his hand pretty horribly on a trip we had to evacuate recently.
It's a miracle I'm out here and not crying in bed.
We might.
What's that, Chipper?
Oh no, you're good. I'll be the other way.
Anyway, let's stop chatting. It's not working.
So there's 2 ways I can do this. I can basically butterfly and cut the bones out from the inside, and the other way is to cut it into pieces. If I cut the bones out and do it from the inside, I can actually hang it all as one piece, and that'll free up a lot more space on the rack.
Tripper,
so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to fillet either side of the spine. I'm going to pull the spine out, and I'm going to flop it inside out with the tail, and then hang it to the outside's out, and then slice a bunch of little slices like that.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
The smoking slices.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's a stripper.
I see an ash tree.
Cutting it on an angle. I'm cutting it so that I don't go through the skin. And I cut it all on an angle. So I cut the meat, but I didn't cut through the skin. So I'm basically going to hang this on the smoker just like that, long. And I'm going to try to do the red meat in the same kind of way, and that'll free up more space on the rack if you have longer pieces, because it dangles. If you have little pieces, you run out of space pretty quick.
And the slits in it is to allow the smoke to come in.
Yeah, so you want to make the slits so that the smoke, you know, makes contact with more of the area and the heat. It's almost more just the slow heat than it is the smoke.
Right.
You know, in a lot of ways, right? So a lot of people think you need to make a really smoky fire. You actually don't. You want to make a small fire with hardwood, but it can be bone dry. It doesn't have to be wet. Or else, I mean, it's going to work either way, but it might taste too smoky. So I'll show you how I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut this thing right in half first off. This is, I guess you call this an inside round here.
Outside oval?
I don't know. All right, so I'm just gonna make a slice right along the top. I want to cut the top layer a little thicker. I want to make the second slice out of the top layer. Try to cut it close to the edge, but it's still got to be strong there. And then flip it like that.
Right.
I'm gonna start at the cut here. Now cut this piece. I'm gonna flip that one open like a book. And I come back to this side here. I'm gonna flip that one open like that. So now we have a really long piece. Like that. And then in this top piece here, that's really thick. So I'm gonna make a bunch of really thin slices here in basically what would be kind of the spine of the book.
So are you out of commission for paddling for a while then?
Yeah, I think for about 6 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, so accurate.
Nice one, Joe. Joe is a dad, so he's allowed to make those kind of jokes.
It's very true. Actually, Emerald thinks dad jokes are funny, so it's even better.
Perfect. Dad jokes are coming back, man. They're trending.
They're making a resurgence.
Yeah.
Just smoking some meats. We have the meats. I'm gonna smoke them.
Nice lashing, Joe.
Thank you.
I mean, I've I've done one of these, I've just left it in the woods and gone back and just, you know.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe just use this one.
Oh, it's pretty tall.
So I've got the meat all cut up, ready for the smoker. So the next step is we're gonna build racks on the teepee, and then we're gonna light a fire. And that fire is going to be of dry hardwood, and you definitely don't want to use spruce or pine because it can get too resiny. Although a lot of people in the north, they use standing dead spruce. So what you got to make sure is that it's absolutely bone dry. If you do have to use spruce, it has to be bone dry. And the way you can tell it's bone dry is on a dead standing tree, if that bark is falling off of it, then there's a good chance that that is going to be really dry. And then you just make a small smokeless fire. So you're not trying to make a smoky fire at all. You know, for example, when you buy wood chips in the store to use in your electric smoker, they're dry. They're not wet. I mean, some people like to dampen them, but it's not really necessary. So you're using the heat as well as the smoke. And not that it won't work if you make a smoky fire, but you don't want the flavor to be overpoweringly smoky because you want to taste the meat too. So we're actually going to be using standing dead hardwood, likely maple. Because it has a nice flavor for sure. When I was down in Texas a while back, we used mesquite, which is just like, the smell was flavor is incredible. But for the most part, other than that, it's all going to taste fairly similar if you're using hardwood. So that's what we're doing. So Joe's off getting some hardwood right now we're going to make the rack. And Ted is off actually peeling some bark because we're actually going to cover this in all natural materials. So we're going to use some bark from an ash tree, maybe some boughs to cover this because we didn't bring a tarp. We're trying to make a natural smoker the way that it was done traditionally. So we got to really cover the outside of this teepee. So that's going to be a challenge to get that bark. But if it all works out, it should be excellent. I'm starting to get hungry too, but you got to let this smoke for a while. It's probably not going to be done till tomorrow morning, but we'll see. So far, so good. Oh, this is perfect ash country in here.
Yeah! Woo!
Emerald ash borer, eh?
Yeah, it's unfortunately this one is like dead, the top and here, and it's the bark is that waffly, like it might split if I'm not careful.
Ted is doing the physically demanding job of trying to find natural materials to cover the smoking teepee in, and he's managed to come up with an ash tree. Now the ash trees unfortunately around here are all dying due to emerald ash borer, and this one was already dead or almost dead, so it means the bark is going to be much more challenging to peel off, but it also means we don't have to kill a healthy tree to do this. So we might use the wood for something, but we also just might let it rot and help replenish the forest and use that bark to cover this teepee to hold the smoke in. But it's a big job. He just chopped this tree down by hand. And he's going to be trying to peel off about 6.5 foot strips. So it seems like we're going to be able to actually cover this thing in bark, which would be awesome. Nowadays it's much easier to use a tarp, but the bark's going to be better because it's probably less likely to burn than a tarp as well. Yeah, so Ted's making some good use of natural materials in a way here that it's going to give us a really traditional smoker, and probably the meat's going to taste better. Just that little hint of you know, ash bark steam from fresh ash bark, it can't hurt in the flavor of the meat.
Yeah, you see these waffles splitting. It's starting to go bad, and the bark starts getting a bit brittle.
Nice, you got it. Yeah, look at that piece.
A nice sheet there. How many more of these do we need? A lot, eh?
Probably like 4 or 5.
More?
Probably like 4 or 5 total.
Yeah, about 5 total. Yeah, I got those comments.
Oh yeah, there's some little pokies, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, she's ripping up a little bit down here.
I'm just worried about the other pieces because that borer was in there. Because of that, the bark isn't so
Moist.
Yeah.
Well, if you're speaking moistly.
In that mud. In the mud? Are you in the mud?
Don't let your dog voice get on camera. Look at that, eh?
Yeah, you just held on by a stump here, that's
I
it.
think we should cut a vertical line and pull it forward.
Oh, you get it?
Oh.
I think we could pry it.
No, we don't want the tree to draw tongue up.
Race.
No.
We get this fire lit for a couple reasons. Start it going and get the bugs away. So, got some birch bark, some twigs. The old bit later. Prevail. Are we right? This is pretty much where we want it. It's pretty much dead nut center.
I'd say dead middle of the teepee, yeah. I guess when you're used to lighting a fire with bow drills and ferro rods, it's pretty easy to do with a lighter.
Oh, the old later, man. She'll never let you down.
A snippet of pea cord there?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Is this going to be...
We should probably.
I'm just going to leave the seasoning on.
the balsam first seasoning. Wow, that looks beauty, man.
This will actually just start the process too, right?
Well, it's gonna. We're gonna have overlap or what?
I think we can. Maybe try to hook the edges just around the.
Yeah.
It's gonna work.
Yeah, that's as much. Here, you probably pull some my way a little bit.
That's great, guys.
You could even move the whole.
Yeah,
stick.
move the pole. We'll just use more poles.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good call. We got them all right here. We can just a little bit more, and I can hook it. Yep. She's kind of. Speaking moistly. Good. Yeah, to block. Yeah. Oh, I can.
You know,
I
it's
can kind
about-
of feel that rain coming in. To be honest with you.
It feels a bit that way, doesn't it?
Maybe we could just put a tarp right over this. How's that looking? What you're thinking, Joe?
Looks great. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Just got to keep the smoke in a decent amount, right? Like it's already working.
I can't carry it this way.
A touch, yeah, a touch, but not much.
Maybe peg that where it should stay.
Okay, yep.
And then I can flex it a bit more.
Good.
It's kind of soft. It's like super pliable and strong, but.
I brought my tent pegs one time with my kids, so I just made it.
Teaching the young ones a little bushcraft,
Little bushcraft here and there.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
Another peg there.
Yep.
They're probably whittling spoons as we speak. Yeah. You see how this is billowing out here? We get that going straight. All right, well, I'll grab some boughs and start throwing them down a little, Ted. Just fill this part in with. Yeah.
What the heck are you doing? And be fine, like
Yeah.
you're saying.
Their pain threshold.
Yeah,
Through
go
the
on.
roof. Just looked at you and you like literally had 100 around your
Yeah,
head.
they're bad for a minute.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, we just patched the bottom. Peg it. Timing.
I learned a lot from that, and then also path of the paddle or whatever.
Yeah.
Formation or paddle your own canoe by the MacGuffin.
Yep.
So I learned a lot of the whitewater. I guess you'll do the peg thing again.
Peg thing again. Okay.
You stretch it out for wherever you think.
We're kind of working with this tree here. Here we go. That's good there for me. Oh, she split. Okay. Need another one? Oh, split. Anyways, it's in there.
This is arguably, you know, maybe better than a tarp. There's more gaps, but it's way thicker. It's
Thicker, it's going to hold things in. Yeah, you don't have to worry about. Should we
split that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here.
Yep. Cool. Bam, son.
Guys, wow. That's so cool, man.
Yeah, very cool.
Oh, that's a smoker.
Okay, so we have just completed the smoker. Ted did, you know, a little bit of work on getting the bark, though. I mean, me and Joe basically handled that.
Right.
Ted just pounded beers and...
Typical Ted fashion.
Yeah, like, what the f***, you know, just kidding. Yeah, Ted did a lot of the legwork in getting the bark, and by far, after, you know, catching the fish and harvesting this elk, getting the bark was the hardest thing. Yeah, so you know, a lot of work, but we got it on the smoker before the flies got to it too hard. We got the smoke going, and then we did a lot of work to get this bark. So now we're gonna have to feed this smoker throughout the night, but it looks great. So it's totally covered. And you really want to cover the whole sides of the teepee, and that just channels the smoke up like a chimney and gets that smoke passing by the fish and that red meat. So really key to just make sure you cover that unless you're going to sun dry it. If you're going to sun dry it, what you want to do, you want to get a fire going, but the fire is more to just keep the flies off. But in this case, we're going to straight up smoke this meat, and that's kind of what you need to do here at most times of the year. So basically, we're cold smoking this meat. We're going to let it run for 12-14 hours, and we're going to have some delicious smoked salmon after this. So that's awesome. A lot of work to get this going, a lot of bark to cover the outside of this. A lot easier just to wrap the whole thing in a tarp if you're trying to do it in a pinch, but we had one tarp we need to sleep under. It's supposed to rain tonight, and we wanted to try it in the traditional way. So we got ash bark from dead ash trees or very close to dying. The emerald ash borer is just wiping out ash trees here, which is actually very sad, but it's a way that we could use that bark without actually killing a tree that was a healthy tree. So that feels good, and it's looking like it's working really good. So now we started a side fire because we didn't want to cook over our smoking fire, and we're getting some steaks going right now. So we're hungry. It's been a fair amount of work. I don't know if I pushed it too far with my hand. It's quite swollen. Not as swollen as it was yesterday, but so luckily Joe and Ted sort of stepped in and did a lot of the leg work there on the you know, the physical exercise there, and I tried to clean the meat with a feebly broken hand, which didn't particularly go that well, but you know, you really realize how much you need both hands afterwards, and yeah, so that worked quite well. Joe's just putting on one of those things. Put a cherry blossom. Oh, cherry. Oh, that's a cherry tree. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Look, actually, I look much better. Ladies, look out. Anyways, yeah, so we're getting some steaks going. We got this stuff smoking. We got the smoker done. And we're looking forward to some smoked salmon tomorrow once that's preserved. And right now we're gonna eat a dinner of some meat just freaking roasted right over the fire.
Kind of, you know, melted it in a very bushcrafty way.
Hey, yes, Mar, baby.
I don't know if like you can. It's a lot of meat. No, it's a little flaming for steak. Be the maximum that is possibly able to rise.
Right.
Look at that spread. Yeah, wild leeks and some spinach. I'm gonna throw a couple burger patties on that. Peace. All good. Beautiful. Wild leeks are amazing. I love them. They're like a perfect blend of garlic and onion.
That's right. That's exactly what I said. They're literally my favorite thing ever.
And you're just finding them like it's like they're blueberries.
Like they're weeds.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
It's upset.
Purple, so it takes a hot minute.
Terrified. It's like a Pavlov thing.
Tastes better over charcoal.
It does. There's no comparison. You're right. But. Cooked, are they?
If you're okay with it, I'll give it to him. But
I think I'm okay with it. They're not that like in between the two. Like,
Oh yeah.
and just freaking out, like trying to dig at it.
She was like, it was actually my parents' now. Oh.
Freaking out.
And then I just found it up here, and I guess it was pinching her gums.
Yeah, it
She just
happens
like
quite
losing it.
How's that steak, Ted?
Oh, it's money.
She was like,
This is basically what I built in Windsor. Like this is what me and my buddy grew up on, man. Just the same exact. And it was all fruit wood, so we were using. That's how I learned to use an axe real well. Like real confident with an axe, a bigger axe than we have here. Take my good hand.
here's the rain.
Smoker is working really well. I just checked it out to make sure everything was okay, and there's just a good amount of smoke coming up, just going right over the meat, and it's nice. It's a hot temperature as well, so it should be drying out pretty quickly. And I'm pretty impressed with this. You know, we all pulled it off. It looks like it's working real well. You got your raincoat?
Perfect. That's why it stopped.
Exactly.
Thanks for doing that.
rain gear, Joe.
This looks cool as Dude, when I was coming up, the smoke is just billowing out.
Yeah.
It's on point for sure.
Looks sick.
Say something, Joe.
Something, Joe.
Nailed it.
I don't got much.
You making yourself comfortable on the bed there, buddy? Just,
I was thinking of sleeping there, Tripper.
there's probably enough room.
Alright, well, that's all she wrote for tonight. We got the meat smoking overnight. It's going quite well. Just takes a little bit of time, but we are beat and we're headed to bed. So.
Well, it's the next morning, and we let the smoker run all through the night. It was raining a lot. It looks like the meat's gonna be really tasty. It's it's not going to be preserved like indefinitely. It's not dried right out, but it's smoked enough that it's going to have a delicious flavor, and that it's going to last a few days as well. It's not smoked right into jerky, so the less moisture you have in it, the longer it will last. This is going to be more like stuff that you buy at the store, basically, that still should be refrigerated, but is going to have a longer shelf life than if it wasn't smoked at all. That's for sure.
Joe, what do you think the sleep number is on this thing?
Sleep number?
Yeah.
1,000,000.
Oh yeah. I gotta say, this is just basically logs I'm sleeping on lengthwise, and not too big, but just about that round, and it's pretty comfortable.
Pretty comfortable on it?
Yeah, I'd say this is 10 out of 10, man, for just sleeping on logs.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like Sleep Country Canada over here, man.
If Jim can fit there, then you all know I'm not exaggerating on how long it is.
We have let the meat smoke out all night. Jim and I took turns stoking the fire with some wood, and we're hoping. Hey! What a toll. I'm looking forward to having a little snacky poo here.
The big reveal. Maybe I'll put it on the roof. That's some big shingle. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's nice and flat too. There on there, probably the heat dried today. Flat.
Let's taste some here. That's smoked salmon, man. For the long one.
Oh yeah. It tastes like, it has a hint of store-bought jerky taste to it, honestly. A little paste.
Yeah, totally.
That's great.
Look at that. The smoked salmon, so there we go.
Fantastic, boys. Great success or what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, success. Delicious.
It's really good. Good talk.
This is how they do it, dude. You know? Like, that's cured, man.
Trooper.
The rabbits he's raising for meat?
I don't know what kind of rabbit.
It's pretty delicious. Just nothing on it, I gotta say. It would be nice, if you're doing this, you throw a bit of seasoning or something like that on it, but you really don't need to. And yeah, it's just one more day, it would all just be amazing jerky and preserved. So, and some of it is done, would probably be a half day, kind of thing.
Look at that.
Yeah, and
It's pretty preserved, man.
Yeah, we started late in the day too. Like, it was quite late. Like, what time did we get the meat on? Probably like
3 at the earliest, 4.
Yeah, 3-4 o'clock, and it's around 7:30 in the morning the next day. And look at that, it's pretty preserved. There's definitely some moisture in it, I bet. There's a bit, but it's yummy. But another half day or something like that, and
some of it's completely brittle. That part's completely brittle.
right. So, but this is how you preserve your meat. So if you're ever out in the bush, and you can do it for fun, just for flavor, and if you're ever out in the bush and
Overall,
you take down an animal or you get a bunch of fish or something like that, you need to preserve it without refrigeration. This is how you do it.
So I'm packing this away. Look at the skin, eh?
It's crispy.
Yeah.
And people have been doing it for forever to preserve stuff. So pretty freaking cool.
Good little lesson to learn and something to practice. And lots of fun. We had a good time, man. I had a really good time this trip.
There's something really cool about the thought of like having food and no refrigeration and actually preserving it. You can't find it or the materials aren't there, and you end up, it usually always comes together is the thing, you know?
Yep, that's why I like improvising.
In the spot I was in.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I like having them in big sheets like this.
Using the bark from those dying trees was, you know, a great way to utilize that. And we're going to lay it flat now so Joe can use it here at the fort and try to, you know, put it to further use. So it's great material, and it's been a fun time.
There you go.
By the way, Joe, this is a salamander trap.
Nice, okay.
That's where the freaking salamanders appeared. Right. Just leave them all like this.
Joe and Ted just pulled down the smoker. And me and Joe are splitting the all natural materials to cover it up. And we learned that was actually a pretty hard process. It takes a long time to get bark.
I think so.
Elm trees aren't...
Ted's just caching the bark flat so it doesn't dry all curled, and Joe's going to use it for shelter, for some waterproofing or something like that.
It gets a little like, after it's rain, it kind of, you might get a little like brown and a bit slimy and a little stinky, but it's still like it's good. Right. And when you put it off, it dries and that all disappears. And gaggle.
Joe and Ted just pulled down the smoker, and me and Joe are splitting the beef jerky and salmon. I've already pretty much eaten all the beef jerky. All I have is 2 pieces left, and I got some salmon there too. It's looking pretty delish. Look at the skin. Oh, it just smells mouth-watering. So that's about it. So I'm going to take this with me and home to my wife Tori. And yeah, we're basically going to just pack up and get out of here. Smoke salmon and jerky for breakfast.
Ba-bam.
Trek out of the woods. And all in, awesome little trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks much nicer in here now. That's all it's looking.
All right, guys. We're gonna wrap this up here. Thanks a lot, Jim and Ted, for coming.
It was just fucking awkward, this triangle. All right, you want to see? You stand in the middle. You stand in the middle.
The album cover. The album cover.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, it was a good time. Thanks, guys, for coming. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys, for calling me, letting me in on this.
Yeah, no problem. Good little last-minute plan there.
I hope you guys enjoyed this. We did some things that you don't normally see on my channel. Maybe you learned something about smoking meats and fish. And yeah, we just had an all-around good camp out. So thanks for watching, guys. And this won't be the last time you see these guys with me, I'm sure. We'll see you on the next one. Check out their channels. Ted Baird, Jim Baird.
Adventurer.
Adventurer.
Yeah, had a blast here. It was cool to come check out, you know, Joe's spot, his fort, and do this wicked project. Had a really good time. Check out his channel, Joe Robinet, if you haven't heard of it, which you probably have.
Pretty authentic thing that we managed to whip up to do that works just as well now as it did 5,000 years ago. So great times, and looking forward to the next trip.
He's taking a shine to the Baird boys after they shared their meats.
Always works.
Boy.
walked out the same
How
day.
were we supposed to
We just got lucky, man, because it was just like we were